Ladies and gentlemen, cancel your Netflix subscription because this right here makes every reality show look like bedtime stories for toddlers. We're talking about a scandal so spicy it makes the Kardashians look like accountants filing taxes. Rick Ross, the self-proclaimed boss, just got busted again for allegedly stealing from none other than the petty king of clapbacks himself, 50 Cent. And trust me, when 50 gets mad, oh, he doesn't just clap back. He launches a nuclear missile loaded with memes, lawsuits, and pure disrespect. The streets are buzzing. The internet's on fire, and somewhere in Miami, Rick Ross is probably sweating harder than a preacher at a strip club. Because this isn't just beef, it's beef marinated in pettiness, grilled over clout and served with a side of BMF scandal. And if you thought this was a one-time thing? Nope, this is Deja Vu the remix, the sequel nobody asked for but everybody's addicted to. It's giving soap opera. It's giving Fast and Furious, Rap Beef Edition, and it's giving us the content of a lifetime. Buckle up because we're about to dive into a scandal so wild, you'll forget what peace and quiet ever felt like. So here's where the teapot starts boiling over, and no, I'm not talking about your grandma's Earl Grey. I'm talking about the kind of boiling that sets off smoke detectors and gets the neighbors calling the fire department. Because ladies and gentlemen, once again, Rick Ross has been accused of dipping his greasy fingers into the cookie jar of none other than 50 Cent, and not just any jar. This is the BMF jar, a jar so legendary it could have its own Smithsonian exhibit. Let's set the stage. 50 Cent, Curtis Jackson, the man who turned bullet wounds into Billboard hits, the guy who took Get Rich or Die Trying. So literally that the IRS probably has him on speed dial. He's not just a rapper anymore. He's a businessman, a TV mogul, and let's be real, the unofficial CEO of Petty Incorporated. Every move he makes has a business angle, a meme attached, and a courtroom sketch waiting in the wings. Now enter Rick Ross, the boss, man who went from correctional officer to hip-hop heavyweight, from guarding cell blocks to dropping anthems about Maybachs and lemon pepper wings. On paper, Ross has carved his empire out of luxury, excess, and a voice so deep it could rattle the floorboards. But behind the glossy image, according to 50, Ross has been borrowing, and by borrowing, according to 50, Ross has been borrowing to 50. Ross has been borrowing, and by borrowing, we mean straight up stealing ideas, aesthetics, and storylines. And this isn't new. Oh no, this is the rerun. This is the late night infomercial of beefs. But wait, there's more. Because every time you think this feud has been settled, Rick Ross pops up again like a bad sequel nobody ordered. Imagine Sharknado 7, but with more gold chains and Instagram flexes. So what's the scandal this time? Word on the street, and by street I mean the unforgiving, meme-filled back alleys of Twitter, is that Ross has once again positioned himself in the orbit of 50's BMF franchise. Yes, that BMF, Black Mafia family. The crown jewel of 50 Cent's TV dominance. The gritty, glamorous, drug-empire turned drama series that's got everyone binge-watching like their rent depends on it. Now, here's where the popcorn gets buttered. Allegedly, Ross has been leveraging his connections, music placements, and even his image to try and leech off the BMF brand without so much as a thank you note or royalty check. To 50, this isn't inspiration. This isn't homage. This is theft. And not the Ocean's 11 kind where it's slick and clever. This is more like your cousin showing up to Thanksgiving wearing your shoes and saying, "What? These old things?" The internet caught wind of it, and oh boy, they did what the internet does best: turn the whole thing into a circus. Fans started digging up old receipts, old interviews, and old shade thrown between the two. Because let's not forget, this beef is one of the longest-running sagas in hip-hop history. Drake and Meek made up. Nicki and Cardi stopped throwing shoes. But 50 and Ross? Eternal enemies. These two would probably fight over who gets the last chicken wing at a funeral repast. And the timing? Couldn't be juicier. With BMF still dominating TV, 50 has more spotlight than a Kardashian at the Met Gala. Meanwhile, Ross is out here with new ventures, trying to stay relevant in a game that chews up rappers faster than TikTok chews up dance trends. So of course, aligning himself with BMF, even if indirectly, looks like a calculated move. But calculated by who? Ross trying to keep his name hot? Or 50 using the drama to fuel viewership? Either way, the fans are eating this up like it's Thanksgiving dinner and the stuffing just hit the table. But let's rewind for a sec. because you can't appreciate this level of chaos without knowing the history. Their feud kicked off way back in the late 2000s, when Rick Ross allegedly felt disrespected by 50. Instead of sending a text, like a normal human, Ross decided to go nuclear, launching diss tracks and throwing shade left and right. 50, never one to back down, responded with one of the most savage smear campaigns in hip-hop history, digging into Ross's past as a correctional officer, exposing receipts and clowning him on a level that made Jerry Springer look wholesome. Ever since, the beef has been an ongoing soap opera. Diss tracks, interviews, lawsuits, Instagram rants. It's basically the Marvel Cinematic Universe of pettiness. And now, with this latest theft, it's like the Avengers have assembled for one last ride. Fans are already taking sides. Team 50 is all about the receipts, pulling up old interviews where Ross allegedly admitted to eyeing BMF connections. They're calling him Rick Fraud, the correctional copycat, and even Maybach mooched. On the flip side, Team Ross is laughing it off, painting 50 as the guy who cries wolf every time someone so much as breathes in his direction. They say 50 is just bitter, just trying to keep his name trending by latching onto Ross like a mosquito at a cookout. But here's the kicker. Both sides might be right. Because in hip-hop, perception is everything. It doesn't matter who's technically guilty, the only thing that counts is who controls the narrative. And when it comes to narrative, 50 Cent is basically the Elon Musk of trolling. The man could spin a flat tire into a press release. So as this new scandal unfolds, the tension is sky high. Will 50 expose Ross with more receipts than CVS? Will Ross clap back with another diss track featuring 12 unnecessary DJ drops? Or will they finally settle it like grown men in court, where 50 has already dragged half the industry at one time or another? Whatever happens, the stage is set, the players are ready, and the audience, you and me, are strapped in for the ride. Because if there's one thing hip-hop has taught us, it's this. The music might stop, but the drama never does. And just when you thought this scandal couldn't get any messy, boom, it explodes like a Thanksgiving turkey deep-fried in motor oil. Because what's a feud without the peanut gallery of celebrities? Twitter trolls and meme factories all throwing gasoline on the fire? If part 1 was the setup, this right here is the fireworks show. And the grand finale hasn't even started yet. The moment whispers of Rick Ross borrowing from BMF started trending, social media lit up faster than Times Square on New Year's Eve. Fans didn't just tweet, they went full investigative journalist mode, digging through archives like they were auditioning for a spot on CSI Hip-Hop. They resurfaced clips of Ross bragging about his connections, compared his old lyrics to themes in BMF, and basically played Spot the Difference like it was a national sport. Spoiler alert, the internet unanimously decided Ross was biting harder than a toddler at daycare. But here's where it gets wild. Celebrities chimed in because in Hollywood and hip-hop, staying quiet is basically career suicide. Snoop Dogg, always the unbothered uncle at the barbecue, dropped a cryptic laughing emoji on Instagram that fans immediately linked to the drama. And you already know, a single emoji from Snoop carries the weight of 1,000 think pieces. Meanwhile, Meek Mill, who somehow finds himself orbiting every beef like the moon stuck to Earth's gravitational pull, posted a tweet about fake bosses needing real guidance. He didn't name names. But come on, everyone knew that shade was pointed straight at Ross's Maybach logo. Then there's 50, who treated the internet like his personal stand-up stage. He didn't just clap back. He turned the whole fiasco into a roast session. Posting memes of Ross photoshopped into BMF posters, 50 wrote captions like, "When the knockoff DVD is better than the bootleg." Another meme showed Ross holding an empty plate with the caption, "Looking for a free meal off my show." Fans went absolutely feral. And the memes didn't stop there. Twitter flooded with side-by-sides of Ross's career and 50's business moves. One viral tweet compared Ross's borrowing to a kid copying homework and still failing the test. Another joked, "Rick Ross be like, I ain't stealing, I'm just remixing reality." Savage, brutal, hilarious. But it wasn't just comedy, it was outrage. Hip-hop purists jumped in, accusing Ross of crossing the line by exploiting a culture and story 50 Cent painstakingly brought to TV. Some even called it culture jacking, claiming Ross was taking from real street legends without putting in the actual work. Others, though, flipped the script and accused 50 of gatekeeping. They argued that BMF is bigger than one man, and Ross, with his boss persona, has every right to engage with the legacy. See how messy this is? It's like Thanksgiving dinner when politics come up, everyone's yelling. Nobody's listening and someone's about to flip the table. And just when the internet thought it had the verdict, Ross himself poured gasoline on the fire. Oh yes, Rozay stepped into the chat. Instead of denying or clarifying, he leaned into the scandal with the swagger of a man who bathes in controversy. On Instagram Live, he smirked through his shades and said, "They love to talk when they scared of the boss. If you inspired by greatness, you salute it. If you hating, you cry about it." Translation, he basically told 50, "Yeah, I took inspiration, now hold this L." Fans went ballistic. Half of them crowned Ross the king of confidence. The other half dragged him for admitting, without admitting, that he was coasting on 50's empire. The memes evolved again. One viral TikTok soundbite looped Ross saying "salute it" over clips of SpongeBob stealing Krabby Patties. Millions of views. Thousands of stitches. Even Gen Z, who barely knows the original beef, suddenly became experts in 50 versus Ross history. And of course, where there's drama, there's always that one celebrity who fans beg to weigh in. Jay-Z. He didn't say a word, but his silence got dissected like a crime scene. Fans were like, if Hov signed Ross, he'd say something. The silence means he's on 50's side. The level of overanalysis was so intense it made English class look like kindergarten. But let's not forget, this isn't just gossip, it's business. Behind the scenes, TV insiders whispered that 50 was furious because Ross allegedly tried to pitch his own BMF adjacent projects, capitalizing on the hype of the show without cutting him in. Imagine someone setting up a lemonade stand right next to yours, using your lemons and charging extra for ice. That's how petty this is. And that's where the real escalation happens. Because when money's on the line, all bets are off. 50 Cent isn't just mad for clout, he's mad for the bag. If Ross really is trying to leech off BMF without permission, we're talking potential lawsuits, block deals, and years of court drama. And if history tells us anything, it's that 50 loves the courtroom. He's turned suing people into an Olympic sport. Public opinion is split down the middle. Team Ross stans argue he's just paying homage and that 50 is being paranoid. Team 50 diehards say Ross is shamelessly clout chasing. And the undecided middle? They're here for the entertainment. They don't care who's right or wrong, they just want the next roast, the next meme, the next meltdown. And honestly, that's the beauty of it. Hip-hop beef in 2025 isn't about music, it's about content. Diss tracks are cool, but memes are quicker, funnier, and viral. What we're watching right now is the transformation of beef into pure internet fuel. And at the center of it all? Two men who know exactly how to keep the cameras flashing. 50 Cent and Rick Ross, but here's the twist nobody saw coming. Industry whispers say other rappers are low-key using this drama to push their own projects. Suddenly, random artists are dropping tracks with subliminal bars about fake bosses and petty kings. They're piggybacking off the chaos, turning the feud into a marketing campaign. It's like Shark Tank meets Love and hip-hop. So now the question becomes, who's really winning? Is it 50, who controls the narrative with his memes and ruthless clapbacks? Is it Ross, who's keeping his name relevant by attaching himself to the hottest TV franchise in years? Or is it the fans who get free entertainment every single day like they've subscribed to the Drama Plus streaming service? One thing's certain, this beef isn't cooling off anytime soon. It's boiling, bubbling, and spilling over into every corner of the internet. And if you think this is the climax, oh no, we're just getting to the good part. The aftermath is coming, and trust me, it's uglier, pettier, and juicier than anyone's ready for. First, let's talk 50. If you thought the man was petty before, this scandal just upgraded him to petty prime minister. He didn't just roast Ross with memes, he doubled down with power moves. Rumors swirled that 50 was pulling strings behind the scenes, blocking Ross's potential deals and leveraging his influence in Hollywood like a mob boss with a LinkedIn profile. Insiders claimed Ross had meetings canceled, calls ignored, and suddenly, opportunities vanished faster than Blockbuster Video. Coincidence? Please. With 50 Cent involved, nothing is coincidence, it's calculated warfare. And here's the kicker, fans loved it. Social media crowned 50 the undefeated troll champion of the decade. They compared him to Thanos snapping his fingers, wiping out Ross's prospects with one clapback. One viral tweet read, 50 doesn't just end careers, he cancels futures like Netflix shows after one season, brutal but accurate. But while 50 basked in the glory of pettiness, Ross's image took a pounding. Every scandal leaves behind residue, and this one painted Ross as a desperate hanger-on. The boss persona suddenly looked more like the borrower. Memes of Ross photoshopped as a substitute teacher went viral, with captions like, "Correctional officer to career copier." For a man who built his brand on luxury, dominance, and originality, that's a lethal blow. Yet, Ross wasn't entirely down for the count. He doubled back with defiance, posting cryptic messages about resilience, loyalty, and real bosses don't explain. He even teased new music, implying he'd address the scandal on wax. And that's where things got interesting. Because in hip-hop, a diss track isn't just music, it's a courtroom, a boxing ring, and a confessional all rolled into one. Fans braced themselves for Ross to clap back with bars aimed directly at 50. But the question remained, would it be sharp enough to pierce through 50's armor of memes, receipts, and ruthless reputation? Meanwhile, the BMF brand became hotter than ever. Viewership spiked, online debates skyrocketed, and suddenly, people who hadn't even watched the show were streaming episodes just to catch the references. The irony? In trying to leech off BMF, Ross may have unintentionally boosted its popularity even more, handing 50 Cent another W on a silver platter. It's like trying to rob a bank and accidentally depositing more money into the vault, and then came the ripple effects. Other rappers, seeing the flames, either distanced themselves from Ross or quietly aligned with 50. It's the classic playground dynamic. When the bully's getting clowned, everyone slowly steps away. Ross found himself more isolated than ever, his allies reduced to a handful of diehards and opportunists looking for a quick feature. Meanwhile, 50 strutted around like the last man standing at the end of a battle royale. But the real casualty? Reputation. In hip-hop, your image is your currency. Once the culture brands you a fraud, a thief, or a clout chaser, good luck cashing in on respect. Ross will keep making music, sure, but the whispers will follow him. Every album drop will be met with, "Cool, but remember when 50 exposed him?" Every business venture will carry the shadow of this scandal. And in an industry where perception shapes profit, that's poison. On the flip side, 50's image as the king of pettiness solidified to mythical status. But here's the double-edged sword. Being the troll god is fun, but it also locks you into that lane. For every fan sharing his clapbacks, there's another critic whispering, "When's the last time he made music, though?" Sure, he's got TV empires and business wins, but scandals like this keep him defined more by beef than by art. It's power, but it's also a trap. And let's not forget the fans, the true winners in this saga. They got weeks of free entertainment, memes that'll live forever, and enough drama to fuel podcasts, YouTube breakdowns, and TikTok edits for months. Some compared it to WWE storylines, others to reality TV, and a few said straight up, "This beef is the only thing keeping me alive through Monday mornings." The aftermath also revealed something deeper about hip-hop culture in 2025. Beef isn't just about the bars anymore. It's about brand wars, streaming numbers, and viral dominance. Ross vs. 50 isn't just a rap feud, it's a masterclass in modern clout economics. Ross tried to siphon off the BMF wave, 50 weaponized memes, and the fans turned it into a spectator sport. Everyone got something out of it, except maybe Ross's dignity. But the real question lingers like smoke after a fire. Is this the end? Or just another round in the saga that refuses to die? If history is any guide, 50 isn't done. He'll wait, he'll plot, and then he'll drop another bomb at the most inconvenient moment for Ross, and Ross, prideful as ever, won't back down. He'll keep poking the bear, hoping one day to flip the script. So here we are, standing in the wreckage of reputations, egos, and stolen spotlights. 50 walks away looking like the puppet master of chaos. Ross limps away with a bruised crown and a tattered robe. And us? We're already refreshing Twitter, waiting for the next explosion, because if there's one guarantee in hip-hop, it's this: beefs don't end, they just reload. And there it is, folks. Another day, another scandal, another chapter in the never-ending telenovela of hip-hop beef. Rick Ross allegedly caught stealing from 50 Cent again? At this point, it's less boss versus mogul and more like two exes fighting over who gets custody of the clout. And guess what? We're all the nosy neighbors peeking through the blinds. living for every messy second of it. But don't you dare think this is over. Oh no, with 50 Cent, the pettiness is eternal. The man collects grudges the way Pokemon trainers collect cards. And Rick Ross? He's too stubborn, too flashy, and too invested in this boss persona to ever walk away. So trust me, this is just the halftime show. The real fireworks haven't even started yet. Now here's your job. Don't just watch from the sidelines like a background extra in your own life. Smash that like button like it owes you money. Drop a comment, are you Team 50, the meme assassin with court papers in one hand and champagne in the other? Or Team Ross, the boss turned alleged clout bandit? I want this comment section messy Abe in your auntie's Facebook after 2 glasses of wine and of course, hit that subscribe button like you're dodging 50s lawsuits. Because scandals don't sleep, and neither do we. Every leaked DM, every stolen idea, every cryptic Instagram post, you already know Trend Tattle is right here to drag it into the light. So buckle up, stay messy, and remember, in this circus we call celebrity culture, the tea never spills, it floods. This is Trend Tattle signing off but never signing out. Boom. Mic drop.